Before we begin, I would like to ask you a question. What do you think is the most harmful to our bodies? Many people may first think of smoking, because the cigarette box says, "Smoking is harmful to health," or think that it is drinking. Everyone knows that drinking alcohol hurts the liver, almost common sense. But if I told you that these common health hazards are not actually the most terrible, and there are even some foods that we eat and buy every day, and they are 100 times more harmful to the body than smoking and drinking combined, would you believe it? Sounds incredible, right? You may be even more surprised to learn that even though instant noodles are recognized as a representative of the health killer, it has not even made it into the top 5 of this latest blacklist. So what kind of food could overshadow instant noodles? What kind of health crisis is hidden behind these seemingly harmless and even delicious foods? Today, I am going to reveal to you the 5 deadly foods, jointly identified by many experts around the world, and especially analyze the deadliest first food for you. I bet that it appears on the dining table of almost every family and can be found in the refrigerator at any time. This isn't alarmist. This video will be about you and your family's health for the next 10, 20, or even 30 years. Don't walk away. The excitement will start right away. Before revealing these foods, let's first take a look at the times we live in. Although material resources are becoming more and more abundant, and the standard of living is constantly improving, why are there more and more friends around me who suffer from high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, and even cancer? Many young people start to suffer from chronic diseases at the age of 30 or 40. Why is that? In fact, our ancestors have long told us that the 4 words, "Illness comes from the mouth," tell the truth. Each of our bodies is like a ledger into which every meal we eat is recorded. If you eat nutritious, your body will be healthy. If you eat toxins, your body will slowly suffer from illness. Just like our body is a factory, the liver is the detoxification workshop, and the kidneys are the sewage system. But if we stuff a lot of industrial waste and chemical additives into this machine every day, even the most powerful system will collapse one day. Many of my friends may say, "I want to be healthy, but I don't know what to eat and what not to eat." Ignorance is the worst enemy of our health. It's not that we don't care about ourselves, but we don't realize that foods that we think are harmless, even delicious, actually hide a huge health crisis. Therefore, the most important goal of today's video is to help you identify these dangerous foods, blacklist them, and help you avoid health mistakes. Without further ado, let's start with the 5th-ranked food and officially unveil this deadly food list. But dear friends, have you ever wondered why fresh fruits and meat spoil after a few days, while these canned goods sit on the shelves for a whole year or even longer? Behind this, in fact, is the price that we must pay for our health. According to a study by the European Food Safety Authority, while canned foods solve the problem of long shelf life, they hide 3 major health traps that quietly erode our bodies. The first big pitfall, a large loss of nutrients. In order for food to be stored for a long time, canned food must be sterilized at high temperatures, which destroys a large number of beneficial nutrients in the food, especially some vitamins that are easily damaged by heat, such as vitamin C and vitamin B complex. In this way, there is actually very little nutrition left in the can, and what you eat is actually only the shell of the food and the real soul. Nutrition has long been lost. In the end, all we are left with is empty heat. The second big pitfall, high sugar and salt. To make canned food tastier and have a longer shelf life, producers often add a lot of sugar and salt. For example, the canned fruit we often eat is actually not the fruit itself, but the fruit blistered in sugar water. You may have consumed 2 days of sugar in one can, and the rapid absorption of this sugar directly causes blood sugar spikes. Canned meat, on the other hand, is also added with a lot of salt in order to add flavor and maintain the texture. Did you know? Some cans contain more sodium than our recommended intake for a day. Too much salt will not only cause blood pressure to rise, but also put a huge burden on vital organs such as the heart and kidneys, and over time, blood vessels will gradually harden and even become weaker. The third pitfall: potential chemical risks. Many cans are coated with an antiseptic coating on the inside of the can, which may contain a chemical called bisphenol A. Although the current production process has made the content of this substance mostly safe to meet safety standards, medical experts remind us that this chemical, if accumulated in the body over a long period of time, can interfere with the endocrine system, especially for developing children, and the potential health risks cannot be ignored. I have a neighbor, Wang's mother, who is busy with work and often prepares canned food for her son for breakfast, thinking that this is convenient and nutritious. As a result, the child's medical examination revealed that he was overweight and, although he appeared to be well-fed, was mildly malnourished. This is the classic empty calorie problem, where canned food keeps him full but doesn't provide the nutrients he really needs. So what can we do in the face of these health crises? Don't worry, I'm here to teach you a few tips to avoid these pitfalls and become a good eater. The first trick: give preference to fresh ingredients. Try to eat fresh ingredients, especially seasonal fruits and vegetables. Canned food is okay with occasional emergencies, but it definitely can't be a regular guest at the table. If you must buy canned food, choose water-soaked canned food, such as water-soaked tuna, rather than oil-soaked food, which can reduce your fat intake. Trick 2. Handle canned food skillfully. Before eating canned food, be sure to discard the soup or sugar water in the can, and preferably rinse the food again with plain water. This small step can effectively remove excess sugar and salt, making food healthier. Tip 3. Learn about special foods. Not all canned food is a bad thing, like canned tomatoes, because the absorption of lycopene is better after heating. It also has certain benefits for anti-aging and cardiovascular protection. Therefore, the key to occasionally eating certain canned foods is to know how to choose. Remember, canned foods are okay for occasional emergencies, but they should never be relied upon as a workhorse in your daily diet. If you really care about the health of yourself and your family, you should start choosing more fresh ingredients and reduce your dependence on these chemical additives. A well-known Japanese cardiovascular and cerebrovascular expert bitterly called milk tea a sweet poison and a nightmare for blood vessels in his book. The health hazards of milk tea are definitely beyond your imagination, and they can be summed up in 3 fatal problems: high sugar, high oil, high calories, and lack of nutrients. The biggest health hazard is the milk and sugar in milk tea. First, let's talk about milk. Do you think the milk tea you drink is fragrant milk? In fact, it is very wrong. The milk of the vast majority of milk teas on the market is not real milk, but uses a low-cost, thicker creamer. Its scientific name is non-dairy creamer. The trans fatty acids in non-dairy creamer are not metabolized by our body at all. It's like a piece of craft candy that sticks to the walls of blood vessels, and over time, it makes our blood thicker and narrower, eventually leading to blockages. The good cholesterol in our body can be seen as the scavenger of blood vessels, specializing in cleaning up impurities on the walls of blood vessels, and trans fatty acids are the natural enemies of these scavengers, which not only increase bad cholesterol, but also inhibit good cholesterol. Eventually, the health of your blood vessels will be completely destroyed, leading to terrible diseases such as arteriosclerosis, blood clots, myocardial infarction, and even stroke. Next, let's talk about sugar. Do you know how much sugar is in a regular cup of milk tea? Some research institutions have tested that a cup of 700 cubic centimeters milk tea may contain as much as 60 grams, or even 70 grams. That's 3 times the amount of sugar recommended by the World Health Organization for adults in one day. As soon as so much sugar rushes into the body, blood sugar will spike instantly, like a roller coaster, and the pancreas will desperately secrete insulin to lower blood sugar. In the long term, the pancreas will gradually fail, leading to the development of diabetes. And these excess sugars will also be converted into fat, which will accumulate in the liver, forming fatty liver, which will accumulate in the waist and abdomen, making people continue to gain weight. I know a young man in his 20s who has to drink a cup of milk tea every day, which is almost his necessity. As a result, when he had a physical examination last year, he was diagnosed with severe fatty liver and hyperlipidemia at a young age. Doctors warned him that if he continued, he might get heart disease at the age of 30. So he finally quit milk tea. So what if you really want to drink? The best way is to do it yourself. Go to the supermarket to buy real fresh milk and black tea bags. Cook them yourself. The sweetness can be controlled by yourself. Add a little honey or sugar substitutes, which can not only satisfy cravings, but also better protect your health. Next, move on to our second place, spicy strips. This cheap and stimulating snack is very popular on the internet among the student group, and the taste is spicy, greasy, and chewy, and many people can't resist it. But I must use the harshest words to warn everyone, especially friends with children and grandchildren, that spicy strips are definitely a bombshell in health. Why are spicy strips synonymous with chemical additives? Let's take a look at the composition of spicy strips. Its main ingredients are cheap flour products and soy products, that is, gluten, which have little to no nutrition. The process of making spicy strips is a chemical process, and the gluten will be repeatedly soaked in heavy oil, heavy salt, and heavy spicy seasonings, and this is the essence of spicy strips, a combination of oil and salt. It is surprisingly high in sodium and fat, and long-term consumption can cause irreversible damage to children's kidney and cardiovascular development. The most terrifying thing is that the spicy strips are filled with a lot of food additives, and in order to simulate the taste of meat in the gluten, the factory will add dozens of chemicals, including sweeteners, flavor enhancers, preservatives, colors, and flavors. It can be said that the taste you eat is not the taste of the food itself at all, but the fake taste of the chemical mixture. These chemicals enter the developing child's body, and the child's liver and kidneys, which act as detoxification organs, are simply difficult to deal with. We often hear on the news that children are sent to the hospital for eating spicy noodles and have problems such as liver damage and kidney failure. Aren't these bloody lessons profound enough? Moreover, many spicy noodles are produced in a poor environment and have extremely poor sanitary conditions, which makes the problem even more serious. I advise everyone not to eat a single bite of spicy strips. It has no nutritional value, only health risks. If the child wants to snack, we can choose healthier alternatives such as unseasoned nuts, seaweed, fresh fruit, homemade yogurt, etc. These are 1,000 or 10,000 times healthier than that pack of spicy strips full of chemicals. Finally, the winner of our deadly food rankings has been revealed. After the previous analysis, you may start to guess that even these foods are so dangerous. What will be the number one list? This champion could be in the fridge at your house, or that slice of bread you sandwich every morning. It is all processed meat products that have been cured, smoked, and dried, sausages, bacon, ham, salted fish, etc. Are you surprised that these traditional delicacies that we have eaten for hundreds of years have turned into deadly foods? Friends, we all know what carcinogens are, right? It means that this substance has been definitively proven to have carcinogenic effects in humans. So who else is in the same class as it? Cigarettes, alcohol, asbestos, and even highly toxic arsenic. Can you imagine? Every time you eat a bite of sausages and every bite of salty bacon, you are sending carcinogens of the same grade as cigarettes into your body. Such a delicacy may be quietly feeding the potential cancer cells in the body, which is really impossible to ignore. Why is the incidence of nasopharyngeal carcinoma particularly high in coastal areas? One of the key reasons is closely related to the eating habits of the local population, especially the regular consumption of salted fish. This is not nonsense, but a fact backed by a large amount of medical research and data. In addition to the risk of cancer, these processed meat products are also big salt collectors. In order to preserve it for a long time, producers tend to add large amounts of salt. The dangers of a high-salt diet that you heard about before can now be more deeply appreciated, and it directly causes diseases such as high blood pressure, heart disease, and stroke. We always thought that these delicacies carried the memories and emotions of home, but health and life are the most important things. You may ask, are these foods completely inedible? Don't worry, I'll tell you the solution. The simplest rule is, avoid it, choose fresh food, and cook it in a simple way, which is the healthiest way. For example, you can choose fresh fish and cook it in a simple steaming method, which not only retains the nutrients of the ingredients, but also avoids the risk of processing. If you are really greedy, it is okay to be modest. For example, during festivals, eat 1 or 2 pieces of bacon to satisfy your cravings, and you must not chew as much as before. There's a very simple golden pairing. Scientific studies have shown that vitamin C is effective in blocking the conversion of nitrite to nitrosamines, thereby reducing the risk of cancer. So, if you eat these processed meats once in a while, remember to pair them with fresh vegetables and fruits that are rich in vitamin C, such as bell peppers, broccoli, kiwi fruit, oranges, etc. These whole foods can act as an effective safety lock to help reduce potential harm. However, keep in mind that this is only a remedy, and the best way is to avoid these foods, trying to choose fresh, unprocessed ingredients. Well, today we have walked through this alarming list of deadly foods, from carcinogenic cured meat to spicy strips full of chemical additives to milk tea that clogs blood vessels, starch-filled hot pot balls, and canned food with nutrient loss, which really makes people feel anxious and worried. You might be thinking, so how am I going to eat? Isn't life fun? Don't worry, we reveal the darkness to help you move towards the light, understand the health risks, and avoid them more intelligently. Rest assured that our bodies are very powerful and have the ability to heal themselves. Just like a piece of land that was once polluted, as long as you stop pouring chemicals into it, instead irrigate clean water, and apply organic fertilizers, it will gradually come back to life and become healthier. From now on, we will be kind to your body, and it will surely reward you with your healthiest state. So how do we do it? It's actually very simple. No need to learn complex health theories. Just start by changing our table. 1. The first principle, eat more archetypal foods. Archetypal foods are those that remain as they are, and you can recognize them at a glance. A fresh tomato, a piece of real meat, a live fish, a handful of verdant greens, not those that have been intricately processed and are no longer recognizable. 2. The second principle: try to cook by yourself and take the initiative in your own hands. We have the final say on the amount of oil, salt, and sugar used, and it is a kind of happiness in itself to stay away from those meals that are too heavy on oil and salt outside, and enjoy the fun of preparing healthy meals for the family. 3. The third principle: drink plenty of plain water. Plain water is the easiest, cheapest, and healthiest drink that doesn't contain any calories or additives, but boosts metabolism and helps detoxify the body. As long as you persevere, you will find that your mental state becomes fuller, your body is lighter, and annoying chronic diseases will be farther and farther away from you. Finally, if you find today's content helpful to you and your family, don't be stingy and share this video with more people who need it. Especially for those relatives or children who are still drinking milk tea at home, this is the best health gift you can give them, and do a great deed without spending a penny. So why not? Your small act of kindness can change a